Well, here we are again, and I'm getting on today with the Amstrad Tower System Record Tech Transplant. You can see easily why it is that these earlier ones never worked properly, or the later ones weren't much better. That's your motor, and there is your speed controller, and top left on your screen, the little round thing, that's the speed regulator switch, if you could call it that. All it does is use a wiper arm to contact different parts of the circuit board to give you your different speeds, but of course once you got a bit of dirt in there, forget it, it wasn't going to work. And there's a hole there where it looks as if there should be a third capacitor. Given that this thing only plays 33s and 45s, I wonder if that was going to be for 78. We'll never know. I turned the thing up the right way. Even have a look at the model number there. And quite a lot of these were actually made in Brazil, as I say. But you can see the familiar BSR mounts there. So that means that we're in with the chance of putting this in. And this was a modification I did quite a lot. What I used to do was to always use the SC12M cartridge because it was better than the Tetra cartridge, which some of the late ones of these had in them. And of course you could have a flip over stylus, so you had two goes, LPS and LPS. Or I'd get one that would play 78s and put LPS 78 in it if that was what they wanted. But yeah, if only Amstrad had been so accommodating. Going to be necessary to do a few mods. One thing that I have noticed about it is that I'll have to slightly alter the mounting board. I seem to remember doing this in the past. Just cut out a bit there for the speed change control mechanism. And then we've got these where the springs sit on the corner of the deck. Now, all previous machines I've seen like this have a little collar that sits in there, a little plastic collar. And it just so happens that I've saved some. Heaven knows what they came out of, but they'll be put in there. Why Amstrad didn't do it, I don't know. Because it wouldn't have cost them a lot more, would it? Let's be honest about it. But there you are. Yes. Ooh, how much? Oh, it costs us a whole 10 pence more per unit. Oh, goodness gracious, we won't be making any money. Ooh, how much? Dear God. Seen some tight ones in my time, but they take the biscuit, don't they? But even so, this thing is still a king compared to a crabophone. Now, the later one of this just had a deck like a crabophone has now, and of course I think I did do a couple of them, but I can't remember what was involved. But this type, because the motor board is still the same size and fittings really, you can get away with it fairly easily. So wish me luck, because I might need it. The little 12-volt motor is connected here for the record deck, and you can see there the capacitor I changed, which had stopped working and gone short circuit. And then here somewhere there are the RCA leads that plug into the underside of the record deck. That was something else I've had to do, whip the connector off this one and put it on that one. But because everything's fairly standardised, you see, I've been able to do exactly what they did. Just run the wires up, connect them to the terminals, and away we go. I'm going to have to change the cartridge because that cartridge is a 12H and the Amstrad came with a 12M, but again, that's easy. That's just a question of a straight swap and you'll be alright. So hopefully we should have this thing sounding rather good, and for the first time in its life it will have an automatic arm return. Not much to ask, was it? Alan Sugar, you're fired.